During the late 14th century BC, ancient Egypt was ruled by Tutankhamun, who was not only the youngest pharaoh to ever inherit the throne, but likely the most inbred as well. Throughout his short, sickly reign, the boy king focused his efforts on undoing the damage done to Egypt under the rule of his father, Akhenaten. Long after his death, Tutankhamun became the most famous pharaoh in history upon the discovery of his tomb in 1922, which is often considered to be the greatest archaeological discovery ever made. Tutankhamun was born in the ancient Egyptian city of Amarna in 1341 BC as the eldest son of the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten, who forced his people to abandon their worship of many gods in favor of a single deity named Aten. Tutankhamun's mother was originally theorized to be Queen Nefertiti. However, recent DNA testing has revealed his mother to be Akhenaten's sister, who is simply known as the Younger Lady by Egyptologists. Tutankhamun's mother also being his aunt made him a product of sibling incest, and as a result he suffered from a weakened immune system and physical frailness throughout his life. He was born with several deformities, such as kyphoscoliosis, which is a combination of kyphosis and scoliosis. This complex spinal deformity would have given Tutankhamun an exceptionally disfigured appearance. His left foot was severely deformed as well, which likely made him dependent on the use of a walking cane for mobility. The pharaoh's foot was rotated inward and downward, a birth defect known as clubfoot. The same foot was also afflicted by a rare bone disorder that caused necrosis to the tarsal navicular bone located in the arch of the foot. These two conditions would have left the pharaoh in constant pain. Tutankhamun continued the tradition of incestuous unions by marrying his half-sister, Ankh-Senamun, who was the daughter of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. It's unknown if the couple produced any surviving children, but Ankh-Senamun is believed to be the mother of the two stillborn fetuses that were found in the pharaoh's tomb. The boy king was given the name Tutankhaten at birth, meaning the living image of Aten, in honor of the sun disk god whom his father declared to be the only god worthy of worship. However, upon his ascension to the throne in 1332 BC, the new pharaoh quickly changed his name to Tutankhamun, meaning the living image of Amun, in honor of the central deity within Egypt's traditional pantheon of gods. This decision was likely influenced by his advisors, who held considerable power and influence over the 9-year-old pharaoh. His advisors were determined to restore the position of supremacy that their kingdom enjoyed in the region prior to Akhenaten's reign. Chief among these advisors were Grand Vizier Ay and General Horemhab. Ay was an elderly official who held prominent positions during the Amarna period and is believed to have been the true power behind the throne during Tutankhamun's reign. Horemhab was the commander of the Egyptian armies and held the title Deputy of the Lord of the Two Lands, in addition to being the appointed successor to the throne until the pharaoh produced an heir. Together, Grand Vizier Ay and General Horemhab had near complete control over the kingdom, but likely viewed one another as rivals. During his first year on the throne, Tutankhamun built new statues dedicated to the traditional gods and ordered the construction of a series of large ships. The pharaoh helped to repopulate the cults of Amun and Ptah by gathering priests, dancers, singers, and patrons from across Egypt and reinstating them to their former positions. During his second year, Tutankhamun moved Egypt's official capital from his father's city of Amarna back to the Upper Egyptian city of Thebes. He also ordered that Akhenaten's remains be exhumed from their resting place in Amarna and transferred to the Valley of the Kings, where pharaohs were customarily buried. Other restoration projects focused on rebuilding the many shrines and temples that his father had destroyed. Tutankhamun's restoration stela, erected in front of the Karnak temple complex, describes life during the reign of Akhenaten, saying, "The temples of the gods and goddesses were in ruins. Their shrines were deserted and overgrown with weeds. Their sanctuaries were non-existent, and their courts were used as footpaths. The gods turned their backs upon this land. If anyone made a prayer to a god for advice, they would not answer." In addition to restoring the kingdom's physical state, Tutankhamun also attempted to mend international ties that had deteriorated under his father's rule. Gifts from several neighboring kingdoms indicate that the pharaoh's reign achieved a certain level of success in this regard. However, hostilities with the Nubians and Syrians also intensified and culminated in the fighting of several battles, all of which Egypt was victorious in. Tutankhamun may have even led some of these battles himself toward the end of his reign. Among the items found in his tomb were body armor and bows, which suggests that the pharaoh trained to shoot despite his poor health. Tutankhamun's reign ended abruptly in 1333 BC upon his sudden death at 19 years old. Many theories surrounding his demise have emerged, including that he was murdered. It was speculated for many years that he was killed by a blow to the head due to a large hole found in the side of his skull, but the hole was eventually revealed to be the result of damage caused by the archaeologists who first studied his mummy. Examination of the pharaoh's remains concluded that he most likely died due to complications from a broken leg and a malaria infection. Despite undoing many of the controversial changes made by his father, Tutankhamun's mere association with Akhenaten resulted in future pharaohs erasing him and his reign from the historical record. While all other tombs in the Valley of the Kings were stripped of their treasures over the following centuries, Tutankhamun's tomb remained largely untouched. Although the tomb was briefly entered by looters shortly after the pharaoh's death, it was quickly resealed by ancient Egyptian officials. Thereafter, it remained undisturbed for over 3 millennia until British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered the tomb in 1922 AD. It is theorized that the tomb went undiscovered for so long because of its low-lying position within the Valley of the Kings. This vulnerable location likely lent itself to rock deposits caused by flash floods obstructing the entrance over time. Carter describes his feelings before entering the burial chamber, writing, "I think at the moment we did not even want to break the seal on the inner chamber of the tomb of Tutankhamun, for a feeling of intrusion had descended heavily upon us. We felt that we were in the presence of the dead king and must do him reverence." Upon breaking the seal and entering the tomb, Carter and his team were met with remarkable treasures. Describing the experience, Carter wrote, "As my eyes grew accustomed to the light, details of the room within emerged slowly from the mist. Strange animals, statues, and gold. Everywhere the glint of gold." Most notable was the ornate gold funerary mask worn by Tutankhamun's mummy, which depicts the pharaoh as Osiris, the god of the underworld. Among the most treasured items was an iron-bladed dagger wrapped inside Tutankhamun's bandages, intended for the pharaoh to use in the afterlife. An analysis of the blade revealed that it was forged almost entirely from meteorite, making it extremely rare. Other artifacts made using meteorite iron were also found in the tomb, such as 16 miniature blades, a tiny headrest, and an amulet. Although these pieces were not particularly well made, suggesting that the local craftsmen struggled to effectively work with the alien material. An ostrich feather fan was also discovered in the pharaoh's burial chamber, which consisted of a long golden handle topped by a semicircular palm capable of supporting 30 ostrich feathers. The embossed scene on the palm of the fan displays Tutankhamun hunting ostriches in the deserts east of Heliopolis. The reverse side shows the pharaoh triumphantly returning home with his prey. Other items found within the tomb include a leopard skin cloak, 4 game boards, 6 chariots, 30 wine jars, 46 bows, and 130 canes. Howard Carter spent nearly a decade cataloguing the 5,398 grave goods. Tutankhamun died without a living heir, marking the end of the 18th dynasty, which is widely considered the most powerful and significant dynasty in ancient Egyptian history. Centuries later, the discovery of his treasure-filled burial tomb led him to become the most famous pharaoh in the world, known most commonly as King Tut. Through wise counsel, Tutankhamun abandoned Atenism and successfully restored Egypt's traditional polytheistic religion. Consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon for more videos like this.